I would say trying to move my business forward and getting clients more consistently, and knowing that there were a lot of different ways to do that, but not knowing but needing help with what was going to be best for me and my business. I had an idea, but I really needed some clarity around the fact that there were certain things I didn't have to do. So I was really looking for a way to move the needle forward in a way that was more in alignment with me as a coach and with what I wanted to do with my business. Well, the obstacles and the challenges, I put them in the rearview mirror. So I was able to now find something that a way to market my business that I enjoyed doing and that got me clients. So, it was twofold because I also was now given the permission with the help of you and us working together, the permission to say there are just certain things that I don't want to do. And by working, more in harmony with what you love and what you like to do, just the enthusiasm about it has really been shining through in how I'm marketing my business. Well, the tapping is what helps to relieve the anxiety around making changes, because you can now be in a point, as I was, where it's like, okay, so this is what I want to do, this is what I enjoy doing, but due to past experiences, even past traumas in business, it becomes scary to make those shifts and pivots. Sometimes it's okay to pivot, sometimes you shouldn't. But in my case, I needed to. And so I knew this was going to be what was best for me, but there was a lot of anxiety. So the tapping around making the changes and also being confident, sitting with, first of all, what I wasn't wild about doing and being okay with that, like not beating myself up or feeling guilty. The tapping really helped with that, and so that I could move through the process of then doing what I wanted. A lot of anxiety, as we call the money mindset. I've always needed to continue to work on that, and tapping has been real effective with that. Well, there's great power in doing something that you enjoy doing. And so from the feedback that I'm getting from my content, and also a workshop that I did, the feedback was you seemed very comfortable, very natural. You were excited. I mean, so that shining through led to me doing a workshop where I did all of the speaking for an hour. That was something I enjoyed doing. I got great feedback from it. So I did it. And I was afraid to do it at first. I hadn't done a workshop that way. I've done plenty of webinars that were much more teaching and instructing. This was a different way of coaching through a workshop. And so that in itself was a huge accomplishment. So if I was able to, book a couple of calls after that, that was just going to be the icing on the cake. Well, the icing was on the cake because I booked 2 calls. And so far to date, I've only done one. One is in a few days, but the one of these calls, it booked. She enrolled in my high ticket coaching program. And so regardless of what happens with this next call, and I'm expecting more people to schedule calls, but regardless of what happens, that's a 50% closure rate from something that I enjoy doing. So you can't beat that. So that was a tangible result. And also being more clear on what next steps would look like for me. Now I know what I can duplicate, as far as what works. So, I mean, it's something that obviously I think will help me. Well, I know will help me way past the 30 days and way past just one workshop. Well, a lot of coaches, I mean, there's some really good coaches out there, but it's like, number one, they don't get to know me well enough. And it's not that you and I had to go on vacation for a month to really get to know each other, but just in conversation, knowing what questions to ask and especially what it was that I wanted. Also creating that safe space to be able to say, you don't have to be dependent on this way of doing things. and making me feel confident that I could do things differently. That is a lot of things. That's a lot of what I think is missing in coaching, especially when it comes to business coaching. Health coaching is different than business coaching, but you still need a soft place. And so many coaches will just tell you what they've seen worked or what worked for them. But depending on the nature of your business, or again, your personality, your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, it doesn't work. So I felt like you really looked at me, my business, and helped me get clear not only on what I needed to do, but you were clear so that you could open the floor to then move in that direction. And I mean, that's definitely a much different experience than kind of the cookie cutter way of coaching. Well, there's no guarantees when it comes to coaching, of any, business, health coaching. I'm a health coach. I can't guarantee anything, but what I can say is if a person is committed not just to doing what you may recommend, but committed to the process of uncovering what's in them that is going to work, then I can't see how you would fail. I really can't see. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest things that sets your coaching apart because of the type of coach you are. Very empathetic, very compassionate, but also you didn't rush me. You forced me to slow down. I think that's really the only thing you ever made me do. Is you forced me to slow down the process so that you do the process correctly. So in the end, I don't think the result would have been nearly as good had I rushed it and maybe tried to cram more into the time that we worked together. So that's why I would say, you can't lose because it's your dream. You as the client, it's your dream, your vision. And when that happens and comes together with great support and coaching and some good direction, then I mean, that's a win-win. Well, because we've worked together before, especially with the tapping, this is something that's a work in progress of having the confidence to do what I want to do, just always thinking maybe I'm not good enough, with all these years of coaching experience, but maybe. And a lot of that was comparing. And a lot of that still goes back to what others think is the secret sauce for you to move forward. Well, in this case, because it was not only what I wanted to do, as they would say, within my field of genius, but it was successful, then I mean, what it did for my confidence, because what it said to me was, you can do exactly what you want to do. If you don't want to do a particular style of coaching or a certain way of marketing your business, you don't have to. And I think internally, that's something that I always struggled with because it always seemed difficult. And why is this so difficult when I love coaching clients? This has allowed me to get back to what I love, which is coaching clients. And even though there is some business obviously involved because a business has to run, it's made me even more confident in that, even when it comes to technology, because that was, of course, something I'd struggled with is, can I even do this from a technological standpoint? And you helped me to see just do it, and just doing it even when things don't come out perfectly builds more confidence than not doing it at all. I'd say probably one of the biggest breakthrough moments I had was toward the end. I mean, I knew that what we had worked on was helping. Well, no, I take that back. There were quite a few. Probably halfway through was when I calmed down and realized I didn't have to rush. And when that happened, I was cool as a cucumber about the whole thing. There were points where I would look at my workshop and say, okay, you need to finish this. It's coming up. One thing you helped me to appreciate in this process, though, was it might be a better idea to get things done, before you start pushing. And that was something that I had not been shown before in coaching. Usually it's just go ahead and get it out there and kind of put things together as you go. So long story short, that breakthrough moment of just not being so anxious about it, that all the way up until actually doing it on that Friday evening, I wasn't panicked. And I also wasn't panicked about whether or not someone was going to book a call with me or whether or not they were going to actually sign a contract and work with me. So that's huge because usually it is this anxiety, this feeling of dread. What if they don't? Nervousness, not sleeping, need the money, need a client. And that just took a back seat. So about halfway through that kicked in. And then as things got close, and I looked at how much time I had to work with, again, you told me not to rush it, and just do it. And Jessica, you can do this. You can do this. You're fully capable. You're fully capable of doing this. And he was like, okay, I can do this. And like you mentioned at one point, kicking it into gear, that's what I did. But even kicking it into gear to get it done didn't feel arduous
Hmm.
as it has always felt, just so hard to market when all I really want to do is get to coaching the client. So I think that's probably one of the biggest breakthroughs that I had, that I was just so calm for my nature during the process. Can't wait to do this again because I have more things I want to accomplish. Very excited to have had the opportunity to see how taking this approach, doing things on my terms, as you say, can affect my business for the better.
Just keep tapping. You got this.